This this is your year. Just wait. It's your year. If I know it, I believe it. You should too.
Two, one.
Welcome back to Business Vibes Only. I am Martika Lee, the founder and CEO of Just Mind Your Biz LLC. Happy New Year, everybody. We have made it. It is 2025. I can't believe it. I don't know how you feel, but I can't believe it. It's 2025 already. I made a few changes to my hair. I decided to cut me some bangs. I don't know how I feel about it yet, but oh well, it's here. It's happening. Some days I like it, some days I don't. But just as I decided to make some changes with my hair, it's time for you to make some changes in your business. Like I did that, right? I'm serious. This is my favorite time of the year. Absolute favorite. Okay. As a business consultant, I am a compliance and sales operation strategist. This is the time I live for. Okay. And so, soon we'll be nearing close to the annual report deadlines. Beginning of the year is always the time in which a lot of people have their ideas and they decide to go ahead and make it official. They decide to go ahead and start their business. They're filing their LLC, their articles of organization. They're filing for an EIN. They're starting to make plans and prepare for this new venture. Right? I love this time of the year. So I wanted to talk about preparing, planning, and performing because this is what I do. Right? And so a lot of people do vision boards. Right? Vision board is cool. I've done it. I enjoy it. It's a good activity to do with family, friends, things like that. But vision boards don't necessarily work for business. It's great to have for yourself as an individual, things that you envision to happen within your life, um, goals, things that you want to work towards. That's great. But when it comes to a business, you have to create a detailed plan. I'm talking about step by step by step. This is the cost. This is exactly how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to execute. Like I'm talking about seriously detailed. And that is the only way that you can actually achieve your goal. But before you get to the planning process, you have to do a full analysis of the current state of your business, right? That's the prepare part. So, how do we prepare, right? So, now this is the time for you to get with your accountant, or let's say you haven't quite got to the step where you have an accountant quite yet. Hopefully, you have your tax preparer, right? Your CPA that does your taxes. But let's just say you haven't gotten to the step where you have an accountant as your bookkeeper. You might be using QuickBooks. Or you might just be doing it old school. It might just be keeping a file in your computer or writing things down in your notebook. Either way, this applies to everyone. Okay. This is the time for you to go through all of your year end documents. Okay. We're talking about, I want you to reconcile all your accounts. We're talking about your profit loss statements, your balance sheets. I want you to go through everything and do a deep dive into the current state of your business. That is the only way that you're going to be able to create the proper plan for whatever your performance goals are, whatever it is you're trying to achieve in 2025. That's the only way that you can do it. And in my experience as a business consultant, that's what entrepreneurs lack the ability and the time to be able to just sit down and go through it all. Okay. What were your total revenue, your total sales this year, right? What's your revenue? What's your profit? What's your loss? Um, are you accurately categorizing your expenses, right? Um, and then let's say we get past the revenue, the sales. Okay, what are your operating expenses? Y'all hear me talk about budgeting all the time, right? Okay, what are your operating costs? How much money are you setting aside for marketing? How much are you setting aside for reinvesting into your business? How much are you setting aside for, let's say, expanding your inventory? How much are you setting aside for creating a team? That's become my expertise here recently, is being able to create a team as I am forming my team. I am also helping my clients to develop a team of their own and to do so with cost efficiency. It is indeed possible. It can be done. But I want you all to start thinking a lot deeper, a lot more than just being a vendor at events, which is great. It's great exposure, it's great promotion. If you are selling products, that's absolutely phenomenal. Sell your products. If you are promoting a service, great. Be sure to network. That's the most important thing. But more than just putting on the calendar what events that you want to be a part of this year. By the way, check out No Gatekeeping Entrepreneur Summit 2025. It's going to be February 1st, Embassy Suites by Hilton, Nashville Airport. I hope to see you there. Okay. But outside of coming to No Gatekeeping Entrepreneur Summit, what else do you have lined up to take your business to the next level? Right. So, as a strategist, we do this deep dive and analysis into the current state of your business. Right. I wrote this down because I want to be sure that we understand this. I'm not talking taxes. Not today. Before we get to tax preparation, before we get to your documents, before if you're S corp and you need to file your W-2, your 1099s, right? Because hopefully as an S corp you're taking advantage of paying yourself as an employee of your own business, right? There's some additional documents, payroll expenses, making sure that your debts are cleared, that you have settled invoices before we even get to talking about all of that. So just woosah, not today. Woosah, we're not talking about it today. You don't have to worry about taxes. We're going to talk about how you're going to grow your business, how you're going to see that additional 20, 30, 40% increase within 2025. Okay. That's what we're talking about today. I want to see you win. I want to see you grow, but we got to prepare first. All right. So I want to know, what's the current state of your business? I want to know in the comments what you discovered after doing a deep dive into your business, what you discovered as far as your things you can improve on with your operations, right? Whether it be costs, whether it be just your execution in general. What are the inefficiencies and the efficiencies? What are the things that you're doing great? What are the things that you need improvement? I want you to go through all the strengths and weaknesses of your business. I want you to go through everything that worked in 2024 and everything that didn't and discover why. If it didn't work, try your best to figure out why didn't it work. Was it lack of follow through? Was it a lack of proper planning? Was it lack of funding? Right? For many entrepreneurs, it's lack of funding, or we have the ability to be so creative and innovative, right? We also have this incredible ability to just really uh put ourselves out there as entrepreneurs, to be bold, making sure that everyone around us and every event that we go to and all the people that we talk to, making sure they're aware of what your expertise is, what your products are, what services you provide, right? I'm very happy and proud because I have to work on that myself, making sure that I promote myself everywhere I go. But I'm very proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I've seen so much improvement in the local small businesses here in Nashville that are really using social media, putting themselves out there. They're consistent with content. They're getting involved within the community. They're going to the events. I'm very proud. I'm very, very happy, but I want to know what worked and what didn't. Okay. So I want to know a little bit. Leave me that in the comments. Let's talk about it. Let's start the conversation of that. Now, the best part, the best part is after you do a deep dive into the analysis of the business. Okay. You've done the preparation, you got your documents together, you figured out your strengths and your weaknesses. Now, let's plan. This is the best part, right? Because you get to sit and I want you to write it down. Okay. If you want to type it in your computer, that's fine. But it needs to be something that you can continue to go back and look at, that you can, make changes to throughout the year if you need to. Or also just use it as a constant reminder, making sure that you're on pace, right? But I want you to plan. I want you to dream. I want you to think. I want you to really put some goals down, both what you might think as achievable, and maybe a little further down the line. Both. Both, right? I want your short-term and your long-term goals, right? Um I want you to at least have 3 goals that you're going to create a detailed plan on how to execute that goal. Put yourself in the shoes of a person with an infinite budget. Hear me out. I know it sounds crazy. Hear me out. Put yourself in the shoes of an individual with an infinite budget. Put yourself in the mindset of an individual with all the capabilities that you need, okay? And write down a detailed plan. What's needed? What's that first step? What's that second step? Who do you need to contact? What professional or other services are necessary to make sure that you can execute the plan to achieve your goal, right? Don't allow yourself to be filled with doubt. Lack of funding, in my experience, lack of funding is the largest insecurity that sets in for small business owners, and it causes us to stunt our growth, causes us to trying to think the right word, it suppresses what you believe you can achieve. That's it. That's it. It suppresses, it puts a cap, a lid on what you think you can achieve. And the moment that you have it set in your mind that you can't achieve it because you feel that you don't have the capital, you don't have the team, or you're lacking whatever it is, it's not going to happen. So that's why I said put your mind um, in a space of, okay, I have everything I need. What do I need to do? And do it. Write that plan, type that plan, detailed, and go through it. I'm curious to know. So if you want to share, definitely reach out to me. I would love to help you with your plan and your strategy. I'm really curious how many of you will take this advice and actually thoroughly write out just three goals and write a plan for each one of those goals. Okay. Now, after writing that plan, that very detailed roadmap, right? I call it a roadmap. Why? Because you're taking the place where you currently are after you did your analysis, right? So your current state, you're creating a plan of where you want to go, right? And you're pretty much going to execute your way on getting there. That's it. It's really not that hard. That's really how I feel. It's not that hard when it comes to creating the strategy, right? This is where I am. This is where I want to be. How do I get there? Okay. Um, After doing so, I really want you to put yourself in the mindset of, okay, now with what I have, after you create the plan, now you go back through and you say, okay, with what I have, funding, um, you know, access to information. By the way, if you need anything, and I do mean anything, um, I have built my company on being a network. I've built Just Mind Your Biz as a think tank, right? That's why Just Mind Your Biz, be the mindset of your business, right? So I'm very well connected to different incredible people that are absolutely phenomenal in their craft. So especially if you are in Tennessee, if you need help with absolutely anything, I promise you, I know somebody that will be able to get you the information that you need. Okay. Um, and that's the key. But after, like I said, creating your plan, I want you to then go back and look at the current state of your business. Okay. And in going through your detailed plan, figure out with what you have how to still execute those steps, right? I know at first I told you, okay, put yourself in the shoes of an individual with unlimited funding. Put yourself in the shoes of the person with all the capabilities, right? Don't limit yourself, right? But then we're going to go back and say, with what I have, how do I make this happen? Okay? Because what you will find out and may be surprised, um, is that most of the things that you have put in your detailed plan can indeed be done with what you have. It might take a little bit more work, right? Because you don't have the funding. It might take a little bit more um, effort as far as networking and making sure you're connected with the right people, just to make sure that you have access to the information and the expertise that you need, right? That's fine, right? Um, but I promise you, you can still achieve your goal. I had a year-end meeting with one of my clients, and as we were talking, and I was just going through, all right, this is what happened in 2024. We're going through a 2024 summary. We went over events, we went over things that worked, we went on things that didn't work as well, areas of improvement. And just by going through the numbers, I was very happy to let him know that he grew about 40%. He grew about 40% in sales, and that's absolutely phenomenal. Um, and but it didn't feel like it. That right there was the best part for me to hear. Because I always ask my clients, you know, what they want more from me, what they feel like I've done well in, what have I done that has contributed to your success and contributed to just your year as an entrepreneur. Um, how have I made their life easier? Because that's the goal. But then also tell me, what are the things that you want me to improve on? How can I better assist you? And as we were having that conversation, when he told me, like, hey, you know, I worked a lot this year, but it didn't feel like it. And I said, really? Like, you're up 40%. Like, what do you mean it didn't feel like it? And he was like, well, I think it's because I have you and we're building a team. And so now he expressed how he can focus on his clientele. He can focus on making meaningful connections and relationship with people that just created this customer base in which it was cyclical, right? It was just working itself. um what that caused, and this is really important because I want people to know that what that caused for this particular client of mine is that he was able to spend less time having to focus so much on creating content, that by putting more energy and effort into his customer base, um, he was able to grow 40% just by reoccurring customers. Isn't that amazing? Right? Because I know the goal for many of us are new clientele. You want to reach a new audience, a new customer base, right? When we talk about campaigns, I was just talking about Chad, I was just talking about these campaigns and these ad campaigns running for the event through Facebook, Instagram, and making sure that you're putting in the right information for your target audience. So for a lot of people, it's about reaching a new audience, right? Um, but it's wonderful to be in a space as an entrepreneur in which your reoccurring customer base has caused incredible growth, right? And then after experiencing that growth, now it's like those things that he thought were more long term down the road goals. Those are now things that we're putting in place for 2025. That's all. That's how it works, right? Like, just give it time. Give it time. And if I can get you all to be more focused on preparation, planning, performance, and being consistent with it, I promise you, all these other things that you see on social media where they have you completely just they have you completely distracted with so many other things that just it's taking away from the time that you could be spending actually executing your plan and working towards your goal. So I'm in the process right now of learning more about grant funding, not just for my business, but also for my clients. Okay. Shout out to Coach K. Coach K, she's actually going to be here in Nashville on January 8th. I'm so looking forward to meeting her once again and getting more wonderful information about grant funding and applying for grants and all that good stuff, using her real strategy. all of that. I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm back on this journey of finding out more about grants and how to properly apply for grants to increase the results of being awarded. So as I'm starting this I guess new venture, I have to be very careful not to spend too much of my time focused on grant funding and applications that I veer off the course of my plan. Do you get what I mean? Listen, getting grants is phenomenal, right? I need the capital. I want to be able to share it with y'all. I want to be able to do more for you, my people, my clients, my community, my business community, right? But I can't allow it to distract me. And here lately, that's all I see on social media. I'm getting emails from different newsletters and different groups that I'm a part of talking about funding. That's great, but I can't be so invested that I don't follow my plan. That's what I mean by distracted. Because I think we seem to think that distractions are all bad as far as what the action or what we're doing. No, me applying for grants is incredible thing. Me learning more about grants, incredible. Me learning how to strategize and how to be a better applicant, a better contender for a grant. That's wonderful, right? So that's not what I mean as far as being distracted, but it's very easy to become distracted by things that are indeed good things. Um, Social media marketing, it can be a distraction. It can be a huge distraction. So that's what I was saying for my client. It was a relief for him that he wasn't having to focus so much on always creating content, right? Just, got to make sure I make 2, 3 posts a day. And, and you're checking to see, you're checking for impressions, you're checking for interaction and all. Like, it was a distraction, right? That's what I mean. Don't get off course. Don't be fooled into thinking that you should always focus on one thing, right? Um, don't allow your goal and your plan to just be social media. Make sure that make sure that social media is a part of your plan as far as execution, not the ultimate goal, right? Make sure that social media marketing is just your way of getting where you want to be. Your goal should be, I want to see 20, 30% growth in sales, right? Your goal should be, I want to increase my customer base by this amount, and to build your network as far as communication and constantly communicating with your customer base, creating campaigns, things like that, so that you can make those cyclical. That's what I'm gonna call it. So you can make cyclical sales. That's a lot to say. Cyclical sales. So you can make those reoccurring customers, right? So you can get those that keep coming back, right? Um, I want you to focus more on those are goals, right? But on the way there, exposure is necessary, marketing is necessary, um, funding is necessary, building business credit necessary. I have a phenomenal person, a phenomenal speaker that's going to be at the No Gatekeeping Entrepreneur Summit, and she is going to talk about small business loans and how to prepare yourself to be a better candidate for business loans. So business credit is necessary. It's okay for that to be a part of the plan. Don't allow it to distract you from your ultimate goals. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. So what else we need to talk about? We talked about preparation. We talked about planning and creating those detailed roadmaps on how to get to your goals. Um, let's do a bit of housekeeping things, okay? Um, I created a video on TikTok about BOI. Yes, I know you're sick of it. I'm sick of it too, okay? But I want to talk to you about BOI just to make sure that if you're following me, you have the right information, okay? It's my job. Don't get mad at me. All right, here we go. BOI is optional again, okay? The injunction was overturned. We went from, the dates are just all blurry now because it just happened one thing after the next. I want to say it was like December 6th, in which it was suspended, which means that BOI reporting was no longer a requirement. And then somewhere around December 23rd or something like that, they made it a requirement again and said, no, you have to file. And then they gave a new deadline and said that you have until January 13th to file, right? Just, a few extra days. And then by but then by December 26th, it was overturned again and deemed optional. I don't know what they're doing. The government don't know what they're doing. We are in some indecisive times for sure. A lot of changes being made, a lot of back and forth, but ultimately they don't know. They don't know what they're doing. So, how do we protect ourselves? I would say if you are comfortable filing the BOI report, um, just file it, just in case. We don't know how long this suspension is going to last. They might change their mind again. And what I fear is that with the penalties and fines being so high, we're talking about, $500 a day up to $10,000 total. Because I read through the entire guide, which is the reason why I was able to give the information. Up to 2 years imprisonment for, reporting false information, for the repercussions of lack of compliance to be so high, and yet to leave business owners just left not knowing. It's really a sad thing. It really is. I was telling my cinematographer, shout out to Leah Lowe of Alpha Media. I was telling Leah, like, these things, this is my job. It's my job to stay up to date on this information, right? I don't expect for entrepreneurs like yourself to know what compliance laws are in or out of effect, right? You're focused on your business. You're focused on executing your plan, right? You're focused on making meaningful connections. You're focused on operations. You're focused on perfecting your craft, right? I don't expect for you to know what reports and what laws have changed, right? Just like in 2023, here in Tennessee, the business tax law changed, okay? Things like that. It is not your job to keep up with things like that because you're focused on so much more. And that's a lot. And that's why you need a consultant. But that's why I wanted to update you all about BOI, because a lot of the reviews on TikTok were like, I wasn't notified of this. That's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. You would think, I don't know, y'all, because it might be a trap. I'm starting to feel that way too. A lot of y'all said that. I'm starting to feel it. You would think for something so severe, we're talking $10,000, $500 a day. You would think that every department, right, every office that manages the business filings, right? So for Tennessee, that's the Secretary of State's office, right? You would think that every state department was required months ago to send a letter to every business that they have in their system that's filed within that state to notify them of the Corporate Transparency Act and the BOI requirement. And did that happen? No, it did not. And there are still people to this day that have absolutely no clue what BOI is. Beneficial ownership information. No clue. And all of these court filings and dispute, all of this is happening, yet you still have. So I'm glad. For that reason, I'm happy that it was suspended. If you're comfortable with filing it, file it. If not, that's okay. Be sure to stay connected with someone like myself so that I can continue to update you in case things change, so that you can make sure you're within compliance. But honestly, y'all, that was probably the most stressful thing for me at the end of the year. It actually made me go back and make sure, and just check on some of the other smaller tax law changes, both state and federal. Just check a few other things. Just go ahead and dot my I's, cross my T's, because that right there, it didn't sit well with me at all. I want to take a moment and ask, I want y'all's opinion on what you feel is hindering you from achieving growth and success in whatever your idea of business success is. Everybody's idea of business success is different. I want to know, what do you feel? And I know many of you are going to say funding. That's okay. So if it's funding, great. But I want to know from you. Leave me some comments, please. I'm going to touch on, whatever it is that you need. I want to hit those topics, subjects. I want to be able to, this year, part of my plan, right? I have some incredible guests lined up for this year. Okay. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it, but I have some phenomenal people lined up already this year that are going to give incredible information. And they are also a part of my initiative, No Gatekeeping. So that means on my podcast, we don't hold nothing back. Every guest that I invite on this platform, they're going to tell you exactly how they did it. None of that, sugar coated, vague information type of thing. No, I want the nitty gritty details. I want to be able to give the information to the people so you can go ahead with that same blueprint and execute the exact same thing as they did. That's what I'm all about. We are so much better together. And this idea of gatekeeping, this idea of thinking that by holding you back, by not sharing knowledge and access to opportunities to you, is somehow going to protect me and secure my business growth and success, it's false. And I'm going to keep harping in on that. Um, Probably every time that you see me, you're going to hear me say, no gatekeeping, no gatekeeping. We are not in a time within the market, within the economy. It's tough out. Listen, corporations shutting down. It's a lot of them. As I scroll through my feed, I see Party City shutting down, closing all stores. We already knew about Big Lots. It's a lot of different stores, and brick and mortars are really having a tough time right now. Amazon is killing folk. Okay, Amazon is completely changing the market competition. It's a struggle. If it's a struggle for these corporations, I know it's really hard for us small business owners. It's hard. It's tough. You need a support system. You need somebody like myself that's going to say, "Hey, keep working at it. Let's do this. Let's go back to the plan, right? If we need to tweak some things, if we need to change some things up, let's do it, but let's execute it. If you need somebody just to send you a text message, "Hey, you got this today. You got this, and don't let nobody tell you different. It's on you." You know what I'm saying? I'm that person that would do that. I believe 2025 is our year. It is the year of the small business. Okay. It is time for us to thrive. I want to see all the mom and pops. I want to see all of the creative, innovative services, products, technology. I want to see us thrive in ways that we may have never thought before. I'm here for it. I want to be a part of it. Even if I'm just on the sidelines, I want to be a part of it. I can't wait. This this is your year. Just wait. It's your year. If I know it, I believe it. You should too. Thank you for watching another episode of Business Vibes Only. You know I care about y'all. I really do. Y'all have made this podcast journey absolutely phenomenal. I'm so glad that I decided to start this in 2024. So that means in 2025, it's only up from here. Let's talk business later.
2, 3,